Well, it's Monday, and you know what that means. It's a new episode of Hot Sauce Takes, where I take you, the viewer, your hottest takes, and pile 5 to 6 in a video. I do these on Monday, and like the picture you'll see on screen, be on the lookout on Sunday morning, around Sunday, that you could potentially be in the next video. Also, when we hit 2K, I'm thinking about doing Hot Sauce Takes, but I include like every single one of your takes. I'm thinking about that, so comment down below your thoughts about that. So with that intro out of the way, let's begin. Now, the first take we're gonna be looking at comes to us from Outer Spell, and he says the Minnesota Timberwolves to trade Karl Anthony Towns and D'Lo and build around Anthony Edwards. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been a dumpster fire in the last 10 years. They had Kevin Love, and although he put up crazy stats, they were nowhere near the playoffs. They then traded Love for the first overall pick for Andrew Wiggins, and the next year drafted Karl Anthony Towns. At the time in 2015, people thought that they had the brightest future in the NBA, with 2 back-to-back Rookie of the Years. However, in the next couple of years, although Cat and Wiggins kind of developed, they still didn't win, and they didn't really get that third piece. In 2017, draft night, they made a blockbuster move to acquire Jimmy Butler, trading away the 7th overall pick Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine, and Chris Dunn. There, they made the playoffs as the 8th seed, but being basically gentleman swept in the first round against the Rockets. Butler didn't like the culture and the overall laziness of the players in Minnesota, so the Timberwolves were forced to trade Jimmy for Robert Covington, Dario Saric, and a pick, which is very little value for a superstar, borderline superstar right now. And it's just in 2019 trade deadline, they then traded Andrew Wiggins and a first round pick, top 3 protected, for D'Angelo Russell, while in the offseason drafting Anthony Edwards. Okay, the Timberwolves have made moves, but just these moves haven't really panned out. This year, there were a lot of high hopes, but with injuries and off-the-court issues, mainly the virus, it has resulted in the Timberwolves being the worst team in the NBA. People are suggesting that their best 2 players should be shipped for a boatload of assets, but Cat and D'Lo are still 25 years or younger and still have a lot more years of their prime left. The West is just so good, and they have to be a basically 45-win team to make the playoffs, and I don't know if they can do that. Their GM is not making the right moves, and it's an interesting spot for the Wolves. Personally, I think it all depends on the draft pick this year. If they keep their top 3 pick and potentially get a Jalen Suggs, Kate Cunningham, or Jonathan Kuminga, I would run it back. Hopefully you don't get hurt or injured like Cat and D'Lo, but if they fall out of the top 3, they need to blow it up. I would personally trade D'Angelo Russell, though I'm unsure if anyone would want his immense contract, and I would personally keep Cat because he's still a generational talent. And even though it might not be best for his career, I think he fits up really well with Anthony Edwards. This Timberwolves franchise has faced so much bad luck, and they have to blow something up, no doubt. Now, the next take we're going to be looking at comes to us from Ty Baller, and he says the Orlando Magic took a dub during the trade deadline, getting rid of All-Star Vucevic for young talent and taking the direction of tanking instead of competing for the 8th seed. So at the trade deadline, the Orlando Magic were obvious sellers, trading their top 3 healthy players, receiving Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter Jr. is expiring, RJ Hampton, and a couple of salary fillers, while also getting a plethora of first round picks and second round picks. At first, I thought they were losers, with them receiving quite little value for Aaron Gordon, Nikola Vucevic, and Evan Fournier. But thinking about it, it was the right move. Every NBA fan knows that there's no reason to be in mediocrity when you can just blow it up. And I think that they definitely made the right move in basically trading their best players. There's no reason to be the 8th seed. Losing in the first round, I know the Magic are the best the best game one team in the league, but they still lose in the first round. And I think that they should take one step back and 2 steps forward. This team has still a lot of young talent, and with Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac returning, along with the potential top 5 pick, something can brew up in Orlando. And if they can get someone, for example, Jalen Green, you can run Markelle Fultz, Jalen Green, Chuma Kiki, though the small forward can change, Jonathan Isaac and Wendell Carter, with Mo Bamba, Cole Anthony, and vets off the bench. And who knows, maybe free agents might want to go to Orlando. With Disney World, no state tax, and pretty good weather. I do agree with the take that this was definitely the right move for the future of the Orlando Magic, and I do think that they're going to be really bad in the next couple years, but it's for the overall good of their franchise. Now, the next take comes to us from Joel Embiid, and he says, Luka Doncic can still win the MVP if the Mavericks go on a 10 to 15 game win streak, resulting in a top 5 or 4 seed, and while still having crazy stats. Heading into the 2020-2021 season, there were a lot of high expectations for Luka Doncic and the Mavericks, expecting him to be MVP. But with the Mavericks struggling with virus and injury problems, a lot of people have fallen off the Mavericks hype train. But Luka is still having an amazing season, averaging 28 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists on 47-37 splits. Recently being named the Western Conference Player of the Year. Luka is having the stats of the MVP, but to win the MVP, it is vital that you have a winning record. The Mavericks are only the 8th seed, and with players like Nikola Jokic, Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden, and Joel Embiid being back, all having great stats but winning, it's going to be tough for Luka to win it. A streak is a big if, as this team has faced a lot of inconsistency, with Kristaps Porzingis not being too good. You have 2 new rotational players in Nicole Melli and JJ Redick. There's still some injury problems, and you never know what injury is going to happen. And who knows, the virus might just screw them over. You never know, and just this season hasn't really gone as the Mavericks expected. I personally see no chance in Luka winning the MVP, with Jokic potentially being a top 3 seed, and I would say having better stats on better efficiency. And Dame, he's been so on fire, and he's leading a Blazers team that has been so good even with injuries. Like I said, I don't see Luka winning the MVP, but in the future, he definitely can. Now, the next take we're going to be looking at comes to us from Who Is Better, and he says, Zion Williamson is the future of the NBA. With the NBA stars in LeBron James, Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Stephen Curry all 30 plus years old, there's a new era of the NBA, and everything is going to change. The game has already changed completely with the 3-point shot, and this new era of players can change everything again. Currently in the NBA, players like Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Jokic, John Morant, Trae Young, Zion Williamson, and LaMelo Ball are looking like future sensation stars in the NBA, while players like Jalen Suggs, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Chet Holmgren, and Amani Bates all projecting to be elite players. There is always a passing of the torch. Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant, Kobe Bryant to LeBron James, and LeBron to who? That's what we're going to see in the next couple of years. Luka is the most likely, with already him being an MVP level. But you never know. Jokic is a unique center who basically is a generational talent that we've never seen before. Jason Tatum can be a future NBA superstar. Zion is electrifying, especially around the paint, and I can definitely see Zion being the franchise player in the NBA and just the overall face of the NBA, with his overall hype coming to the NBA. And yes, he isn't in the biggest market in New Orleans, but still, there are so many national televised games of Zion because he's so electrifying. It's still unknown who will be the franchise or just the future of the NBA. There's probably going to be a lot of superstars with the names already said, but the next couple of years, the NBA will change forever. Now, the last take we are going to be looking at comes to us from Arav, and he says, if LeBron James and Anthony Davis don't come back till May, the Lakers won't even make the playoffs. So, with LeBron James and Anthony Davis suffering injuries, the Los Angeles Lakers are struggling to stay afloat. they're currently the 4th seed and are very close to slipping to the 6th seed. As a Laker fan, it's been really hard to watch the games, as basically nobody can make a shot or make their own shot. Defense is still top 5, and they've been clamping up with Frank Vogel being a defensive coach. But if you score 80 points a game, you can't win an NBA game. It makes sense that they're kind of bad on offense, as if you lose the best player in the world and a top 7 player in Anthony Davis, things will go bad. The Lakers built their whole team around LeBron James, which you should, because like I said, he's the best player in the world. But if you remove an engine from a car, it's gonna struggle to function. And the Lakers just have been doing so bad. Now, I do think that the Lakers will fall, but I don't think it'll be as big as falling out of the playoffs entirely. The Lakers are built around LeBron James, and I do think that he will return soon. I mean, probably LeBron will return in like a month, but I do think Anthony Davis is going to return in 2 weeks about. I'm not exactly sure. You, of course, want to be cautious with your franchise player, 27-year-old franchise player. So it's going to be really interesting. I do project them as the 6th seed, but there still is like around a 30% chance that there is a play-in tournament that includes the Los Angeles Lakers. They've just been so banged up from the shortened offseason, and they're just an old roster with players like LeBron James, Markieff Forrest, Marcus Lowe, who has been pretty bad, but there still have been some bright spots. Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, Taylor Horton-Tucker, though I do think THT is a bit overrated now, but there's definitely a lot of bright spots with this team. Kuzma has broken out recently to be basically yes, he has been kind of inconsistent, but his defense has been really solid guarding Kawhi. You're not gonna stop Kawhi, but you can slow him down, and I'm pretty sure he was shooting pretty inefficiently, while also him dropping like 30 points in a game before. And then Taylor Horton-Tucker has shown a lot of talent in this NBA, but still, they need LeBron James and Anthony Davis to win a championship. So with that being said, that's episode, I think 10 already, wow, of Hot Sauce Takes. So I thank all of you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and I'll see you all next time.